Heidi and Frank show, Memorial Day weekend. We've kicked it off. We're already drinking.
Hey, kids.
Hey, kids, put your beers in the air. Woo!
Waving like you just don't care.
Yeah, I've done this before because, like, if we go out to a bar or something, restaurant, and my kid wants a drink, but he wants like a Nada Colada or a Shirley Temple. And back in the day when I was a kid growing up, that was no big deal. Nobody judged you for getting your kid a cocktail.
Oh,
that wasn't a cocktail.
Temple. Yeah, that's the thing.
But now, I mean, I think if you're out and you get your kid, like, you want to drink with daddy? You want a fake Cuba Libre? And I'll just put a lime on your soda cup so you can feel like you're an adult hanging out with us.
Right.
Is that wrong now?
You know what?
Pretend your kid's drinking with you?
Whenever my nephews come over, when we're all standing around the island, we're drinking and stuff, I always get them, because they love it, I always get them root beer, and it's in brown bottles, and we'll just, and they're like, it's, I mean, I don't know.
What do they do?
They're like, yeah.
Oh my God, they turn into you. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
I'm totally drinking beer right now. It's got root in it.
We are totally drinking beer right now, and
thanks, Berman.
the LA County Sheriff's coming in here in about a half an hour to give us some breathalyzers to see how much we've consumed and should we be allowed to drive. Memorial Day weekend is one of the biggest traveling days in America, and there's a lot of accidents that happen too, and a lot of them are alcohol related. So we do have Top Gun DUI defense attorney Myles Berman stopping by the show. Longtime friend of the show, big supporter of the program, and if you ever need him, he is there for you. Top Gun DUI defense attorney. What's up, Myles?
Hi, Myles.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
It's your big weekend, man.
It is. Good to see you. Every time I'm here, it's a big weekend.
Myles.
Well, because people need to be made aware of what goes on when they're driving around. And like I said, this is a public service, really, having Myles here and having the LA County Sheriff stop by and us drinking, because you might have a couple cocktails and think, okay, I'm just going to run to the store, pick up some ice because we forgot ice. And
I've only had a couple
get
beers,
pulled
I'm
over,
fine.
and .08 is the legal limit. And you might be over it, right?
Right.
But that doesn't matter. You're still DUI. It's not like, okay, we understand it was 2 beers and you're running to get ice.
And I just live right around the corner. I can actually see my house right there.
Are there more checkpoints, planned for this weekend than any other time of year?
Yeah, definitely. This weekend, it's a 3-day weekend. So just by the number of days, there's going to be checkpoints every day starting tonight and going through Monday night. So, yeah, people should be aware that there's going to be checkpoints all over Southern California.
And they should follow you on Twitter because you actually look those up and post those, right?
I do post checkpoints. That's right, Frank. Actually, pretty much for your guys' fans. And it ends
He knows our fans well.
Yes.
It's at Myles Berman on Twitter, and Myles is M-Y-L-E-S. Myles L. Berman on Twitter. A lot of people are like, M-I-L-E-S, no, it's M-Y-L-E-S.
B-E-R-M-A-N.
Yeah, right.
Did you say the phone number?
I did not.
Oh.
888, the number 4, Top Gun.
There you go.
Got it right there in my wallet.
T-O-P-G-U-S.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
saved me from saying it.
Right.
So anyway, this especially the weather has been bad. So there's kind of like makeup arrests that I expect to occur also for this weekend. And checkpoints are actually they're funded by the federal, state, and local governments. And so in order to continue to justify the checkpoints, they also have to make arrests as well. So people should be aware for this weekend.
If you go through the checkpoint, is it, let's say that, Frank and I, we had dinner, I had 2 beers. And I go through the checkpoint.
Then you let Frank drive.
And then I say,
I had 4 beers.
and I say, they say, ma'am, have you been drinking tonight? What do I say? Am I honest to go, I actually did. I had a big dinner. I had 2 beers within a couple of hours. Or what do I do? Or do I just call you immediately? Myles, I'm at the checkpoint. They're asking if I had any drink.
Oh my God, a checkpoint.
Actually, we get calls as they're being pulled over, with the officers behind them. Yeah. A checkpoint, which is also the same as any other time, that you actually don't have to tell the officers where you're coming from, where you're going to, how many drinks. You don't have to. You don't have to give evidence against yourself. You have to identify yourself, show proof of insurance, proof of registration.
But if he says, so where are you headed from? Where are you headed to, or where are you coming from tonight, ma'am? I don't have to. I can say, that's some of your beeswax.
You could.
You can.
You could.
See, I just always think the cop's asking you a question, you're just like, okay, I'll tell you.
The police, their goal is to make arrests and get people who they think are drinking and driving off the road. whether they're under the influence or not. Now, they don't know that from the beginning. So what they need to do is they want to do an investigation, and everything that they do in their investigation is geared towards collecting evidence in the event that they do make the arrest, and getting people to submit to field sobriety tests, submit to
which you don't
breath
have to
or
do.
blood. No, field sobriety tests are completely voluntary.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, there's a portable breath test that is administered before arrest. But if you're older than 21, you don't have to take that.
Have they updated the roadside test since they developed
old
it?
finger
It's
in the
like,
nose.
have they done anything new? Is it like now it's like you get out of the car and it's an American Ninja Warrior obstacle?
Go
is
ahead,
it, I mean,
start.
do you have to like stand on one leg? I mean, is there something that you can train for?
Yeah, there's two things actually that's developed. The National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration has come up with 3 field sobriety tests and how you rate them and all that. So there's a movement, especially in Southern California, not just cross country, but now it's picking up in Southern California, where these standardized field sobriety tests are to be used or implemented. They're just as inaccurate as other field sobriety tests. I mean, people are extremely nervous.
So ABCs backwards, right? They make you say your ABCs backwards.
You've seen that video, huh?
Because I've
or
trained.
the guy dancing.
ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLK Sober.
See, Myles, he's trained.
And let's
He's been training.
And let's see if he can do that. I won't be here, but see if he can do that in about a half hour.
He can't. He will not be able to. I guarantee you.
There's another big push in law enforcement, and that's driving under the influence of drugs. Because of a lot of prescription drugs, because of the legalization of marijuana with a medical prescription, and other illegal drugs, that there's a huge push to get the officers trained better and more significantly in the area of detecting drugs. So going back to what you were saying, Frank, that is there training for it? The answer is yes. There's all kinds of academies and courses that law enforcement goes to be trained on.
No, he wants to talk about can he train to do the
So if I have to stand,
sobriety
can you
test?
practice
If I
doing
had to
it?
stand on one leg and then look back, touch my nose like this,
He
I'm
doesn't
like,
care about the officers. Are you kidding? But you made a point earlier, Myles, and that's what I always worry about. Like, I always feel that way about taking a lie detector test, where I feel like I would be nervous just getting hooked up. So I would be nervous if I even
Right.
haven't had a drink. I see, woo, rip. I'm like, ah.
I do
heart's
get that
racing,
weird
Can
and
you
then-
do that siren again? That was really good.
I've heard it too many times, unfortunately. But yeah, I would get nervous even if I haven't done anything wrong. That heart starts pumping and you're sweaty and you're just maybe, like I'm talking, I'm a little bit jittery and you're asking me to do things and my hand's shaking. I mean, I would just be nervous.
you look wasted.
Yeah.
Most people who are arrested for DUI are first-time offenders and haven't been through this. And so once they go through and hadn't had any contact with law enforcement other than maybe a speeding ticket or something like that. So going through this experience is very, it's almost surreal once it's happening. And not to mention, and the consequences, which in California, the consequences are so severe. In some counties, it's even worse than others, that somebody who's convicted of DUI or could be convicted of DUI has a lot at stake: their job, their reputation, their freedom. So, it's really important that people understand that just because you're arrested for DUI doesn't mean that they can convict you.
And it's not just a court thing with like the legal part of it. It's also dealing with the DMV. It's like they're two separate things.
Correct. In California, when you're arrested for DUI, you have the court proceeding and the DMV. So the DMV will move to take your license, depending on if it's a first offense, second offense, refusal, third offense, etc. So that has to be dealt with almost immediately after the arrest as well. And we handle obviously both sides of it. So it's really important that when somebody's arrested for DUI, that they get an attorney. It'd be nice if they call 888-4-TOP-GUN.
There you go. That's a good number to know. Put that in your
Or
wallet.
Did I
just
say
go
that
online
too
at
fast?
TopGunDUI.com.
I can
all
say
the
it
info's
slower.
right there.
Yeah, say it slower.
Nice and slow, Myles.
888-4-TOP-GUN.
That's the number 4.
TOPGUN.
Right on.
Yeah, thanks.
We know.
So it's really important. One of the things that's happening, and it's a pilot program in LA County, and I'm sure it's going to go statewide in 4 other counties, that if you're convicted of first offense DUI, you have to install an ignition interlock device in any car that you own or have access to for 5 months. So imagine a business person who uses their car.
Like a
and they're
realtor or something like that. And you're like, oh, hang on a second.
No, they say, hang on a second. Can you blow into this for me? You want to get out of the car.
Yeah.
Buy the house. else. Sight unseen.
Or
I had a girlfriend once in college who didn't think the car would start unless she did that. I got a high five from Myles Berman.
did what, Frank?
Now, here's the thing. It's not just driving on the roads, like in driving your car, driving a truck, driving your motorcycle. It's You could be riding a bike. You could be on a skateboard, right? You could be on a horse. You could be.
Wait, the horse is driving.
You could be on a jet ski. You could be driving a boat. I mean, don't think it's just the road that you could possibly get a DUI.
You've been reading our blogs.
I have been.
That's all he talks about.
We just posted one recently about a golf cart. Can you get a DUI?
Golf cart.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yep.
Yes, you can. Anywhere where it's a motorized vehicle, even on a bicycle though, you can get a DUI.
Unicycle?
Because
you look drunk.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, how can you tell I'm wasted?
Sober people look drunk on this. Like,
I'm glad he didn't ask a tricycle. I don't think you're getting a DUI and a half.
Segway?
Yeah, actually,
Any of that.
yes, any kind of motorized vehicle. But in a golf cart, we've had cases where actually guy gets arrested in a golf cart in an accident. So, he's facing a full-blown prosecution.
Are there cops on the golf course?
No, but
he had an accident.
Case,
had to report it.
He drove off the sidewalk into a little gully, and then the police were called.
And that's the thing too. Now, what you might not think about, you've had a beer and you think, okay, I can drive down to the store. What you don't always think about is everybody else that's driving. You're a good driver, you're a defensive driver, you've only had one beer, but when you're out there and somebody runs into you, and some old lady who's dead sober and you've had a beer, it's almost like your fault. So don't just think about how am I going to get to the store and back. It's can you get through everybody else to the store and back. So do not drive.
Right.
I mean, really, that's the best choice. If you have been drinking at all, I don't care if it's been one, a half of one. Let somebody at the party,
risk it?
And somebody at the party has taken that responsibility of not drinking, so they can go get the ice that you forgot.
They're
to
the
bring.
boring person at the party who's drinking club soda. You're like, go get up more ice for us, will you?
Well, the reason why that's good information. What you're saying is because I guess that if you have one beer or 5 beers, you still can't tell how much.
Right.
Or in your case, maybe what.
18
12 to 15.
Yeah, 30 pack of Coors.
So one glass of beer or one bottle of beer could give a strong odor of alcohol, but you can be maybe at most an O2, depending on your weight. But that's what triggers the odor of alcohol is what triggers the investigation. Usually.
And you mentioned weed too, so it's like they look for people smoking weed and driving.
Yeah, and usually and oftentimes when the windows open, the officers could smell the dope
that they know.
Yeah.
And one of the things they look for
or is it not called dope anymore since it's legal?
Dope.
It's weed.
Yeah. They look for the steering wheel with an orange tint on it from all of the
Cheeto residue.
Cheeto and cornies you've been eating.
Yeah, we gotta light that guy up. Pull him over.
Yeah, and I have to tell people just because you have a medical marijuana license, it won't save you from being arrested or prosecuted for DUI. It doesn't mean they can convict you.
It could be your prescription for anything. It could be like for Percocets or something like that. It's like you're still on a controlled substance.
Correct.
So, Myles, thank you so much for coming in. Big weekend. If you do need to call Myles Berman, do so. 888-4-TOPGUN. Put that in your phone right now. Hopefully, you won't have to use it. He's not here. Hopefully, you won't have to call Myles.
Yes.
But if you do get in a situation, Myles is the best guy to call. All right? 1-800-95.5-5567 is our number. We're going to take a break, drink some more, and then the LA County Sheriff's coming down here to see how drunk we actually are. All right? Stick around. We're Heidi and Frank.
Back to more of the Heidi and Frank Show next on the Rock of Southern California. 95.5